Scene 11. Hall the Mountain King. Lula, I have some fine words I'd like to speak to you about. You really did go deeper into the caves. Well, you're easy enough to find. I've met a few of your former assistants. One can't help but hear things. So this is what became of our project. Oh, I've made some additions. Joseph stole the old data tapes for the first half, so I've got some blank spots to fill. Yes, I know. He published his version, actually. My own Xanadu. I'm sorry to report that it's a bit tediously sentimental. You found your doctor. Oh, good. Yes, you're looking not well, to be honest. You smell like a distillery. Have you been drinking? We've been looking for you. So you found the address data? Just pass it over to Donald here. Donald, will you be a dear and crunch these numbers? We're looking to sort out a street name collision. Dogwood Drive. Wasn't the Bureau going to process it? I insist. I have cycles to spare. I'll just pack my pipe and get to it. I should only be an hour or so. Andrew will carry it over too. I'll be at the Bureau for the rest of the night. Just market private materials for the attention of Senior Clerk Chamberlain. How do we get to the Bureau from here? The bridge. Yes, the bridge. Through the gate over there. Now we too recede into history. Good night, Donald. Meet me at the Bureau, and we'll get on your way. Well, meet me at the Bureau, and we'll get you on your way. Head counterclockwise to the cathode ray, then turn around. Then it's just clockwise until you find the Bureau. Between us, I think you should drive. That thing's not just creating reality, it's simulating it. Current reality. Even predicting future events. Can I not go down here? I guess not. Alright, go to the gate. Oh, the gate's open, okay. Was this closed before? It was. Heh. close the gates. Oh, they opened up again. Does that happen as I fade out? I think it does. Or do they just fade out? Yeah, I think they just fade out. Okay. So I want to go to the Bureau so I can get to the other places. From the Hall to Mountain Keen, head counterclockwise to the cathode ray, turn around, and it's clockwise until you find the Bureau. Cathode ray. I did not want to do that. I think I accidentally turned around. We'll find out. Oh, there's the feather. We're good. Good to be back. Oh wait, I should leave. Let's see. Consolidated Power Office. So we can help out Harry. Clockwise until you reach the Scarecrow. Turn around. Go back to the Bat Feeder. For clockwise drive on your right. So clockwise, Scarecrow, Bat Feeder. Go. Count Resolution Center is several hundred feet above the ground, precariously supported by a dozen metal pipes. The wires of a pulley system run down from a hole in the floor. A thin rope dangles next to them. Shannon tugs on the rope a few times. After a few still moments, the pulley wires grind into operation and a metal bucket slowly descends. While she watches the bucket approach, Shannon's mind wanders. She thinks about her shop. When she first moved in, the workshop was a sort of hybrid storage closet and garbage can for expired snacks. Months later, after she'd installed enough shelves to surge protectors to feel at home, she continued to find discontinued protein bars and gray candy wrappers in odd corners of the room. It wasn't a huge shift to start sleeping there. She's always had trouble falling asleep without a droning fan or some other white noise. So now what? Another shop or an apartment? We'll need some kind of deposit. Maybe she can sleep outside. Trade the hiss of a dead channel for the wind and dead leaves. The pulley stops abruptly as the bucket reaches shoulder height. Inside is a handwritten note, regrettably indisposed. Please call again. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut off the radio. Okay. Clockwise to the anchor, counterclockwise to Whirlpool. Get back to the Bureau. From the Bureau, clockwise to the anchor, counterclockwise to the Whirlpool, and then briefly clockwise. pool and then back. Two figures crouch over a pile of wood a few yards from the creek, occasionally hammering or making adjustments. Junebug pulls the bike closer to the creek. What looked from the road like a haphazard pile of wood is actually a worn boat. It's in poor repair. Perhaps it was abandoned, only recently salvaged. Johnny shouts a greeting, and there's too much work to be done. Rotten planks need to be pulled and replaced. Nails need to be driven, gaps caulked. Johnny switches on the field recorder, and its red light flips on with a thrum. The take-up reel rolls forward silently for a moment before catching tape and beginning the recording. One of the figures stops working, sets down a caulk gun, and looks over at Johnny. The other finishes tearing at a bit of rotten wood stuck to the hull, then turns. After a minute or two, Johnny stops the recorder. File that one under water sounds. Rest archives. They're housed in a low wooden building with angular flourishes in glass. Shannon enters alone up to a shallow ramp and through the glass doors. A young woman seated in a wheelchair staffs the front desk. She smiles politely. Two folders are stacked up on the desk. An orange one labeled Wheat Tree, Mexico City, VAM Station Wagon, 1974, and a green one labeled Wheat Tree, Elizabethtown, Kinetic Sculpture, 1968. Pick up the orange one. She picks up the file labeled Mexico City, and the woman in the front desk gestures to an unlabeled door in the back of the room. Shannon enters, switches on a lamp at a desk inside the small room, and sits down with the orange folder. Inside the folder are 3 clear plastic bags containing muddy brown flakes of varying sizes and hues. Each sample is numbered, with corresponding one-sheet documents interleaved. Shannon reads about the first sample, and it was taken from the hood of a station wagon. The text speculates about a tree under which it was parked, the decayed oak leaves found stuck in the windshield wipers, pools of dew that had accumulated in dents. The sample was taken from the passenger side door. The text describes some variance in oxidation and age, evidence that the station wagon was involved in a minor accident, and a part of the door repaired and painted over. Shannon reads about the third sample. This sample is taken from the gas tank. Given the relatively small amount of rust accumulated here when compared to the rest of the car, the accompanying text concludes that the station wagon was returned to use after being abandoned for some time. Turn to the folder. 2 folders. Okay, same as the last time, green. Inside the folders are 3 clear plastic bags containing muddy brown flakes of varying sizes and hues, blah blah blah. First sample. Second sample, whoops. This sample is made up of dozens of small flakes and was taken from a chain link fence that surrounded the sculpture. The text speculates that the material making up the fence could not have been seriously intended to protect anyone or anything. It was too weak to be anything but decorative. Oops. This sample is taken from the sculpture's base and is the smallest of the 3. Accompanying text explains that the base was made up of cheap stainless steel. It resisted decay, but not entirely. Okay, this is boring. So that was it. All right. I guess we're gonna go to the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces. It's interesting that Shannon's taking the wheel now more than anything. Lead and control and everything. Wait. The compass isn't where I need to go. What? Whatever. This is... Yeah, scene 13. That's my fault. Hey, you see the cat over there? Think she'd eat some bread? Ah, well, more for you, the bread. Blue. Conway seems down on his dumps. Then again, he kind of always felt like that. Seemed like that. But notice how my character's now Shannon instead of Conway. I don't know why. I don't know if that spell's gonna be any use. Hey. Here you are. Marianne has the rest of the evening off, so I'm minding the desk. You're not too busy? If I'm in the middle of something, I just let the phone ring. It's soothing, in a way. The results just came in by courier. Good news. Donald and his assistant were able to sort through the noise. I had Rick cross-reference the results against some of your records. He found a corresponding mail stop on the Echo River route. As it happens, the night ferry is scheduled to make its stop here shortly, and the ferryman carries the mail and collects the garbage as well. I'm sure you can catch a ride out that way. You're welcome to wait here. I have to get back to packing. You going somewhere? I might. I'm feeling impulsive, and I'd like to be ready. Maybe back to Mexico. It's been years. I still have one of my sculptures in a museum down there. Did you know? Big, ugly iron thing. Time to have it scrapped anyway. Safe travels. Try to stay out of the water. It's colder than it looks. And deep. Can I not go over there? Oh, okay. Are the bears still there? Oh, I can't even walk over that far. Okay. Guess we wait. How long do we have to wait? Oh, who knows? Alright, what happened? Up to you. It's okay, you can tell him. It doesn't matter anymore. Fine. So we were in that graveyard. Ooh. Where the strangers come from. Yeah! Oh, now I have to play. Yes. I wanted to know what happened. Replay the whole scene. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, this can't be right. Looks like an old church. It's muddy. Yeah, that's what he said. Crystals and then mud. Okay, I want to stay outside. Okay, I'll stay with them. We can look for lizards. Okay, we'll make it quick. I didn't cook that. The church floor is cold metalled, scuffed and flexed by unknown booth heels. Handmade apparatus for the production of moonshine assembled from scavenged metal and natural materials. What happened? I don't know what I expected. Another dead end. Yeah, I'm starting to think that's our son. Listen, earlier in the mine, I don't want to talk about it, but what'd you find down there? When I saw Weaver, she was on TV. I was testing a pretty simple tube repair, flipping through channels to check the saturation, and she was just there. It's kind of horrible. I mean, I told you she disappeared suddenly, ran away, but we thought she was dead. Yeah. I guess I don't like to say it. Dead. And then the next time I flipped to channel 2, Weaver. It's burned in my vision now. She's standing in a room. The walls are a blank kind of gray. There's tape on the walls, like markings and desks. A classroom, maybe. The camera's in the corner, so it's a sort of 45-degree angle into the room. And there's Weaver right in the center of the picture. I stopped turning the dial. Hell, I think I stopped breathing. Eventually she spoke, but there was no real sound. Just this awful hum. Oh my gosh. I read the captions. She said to go to the mind, find something there. I can't remember her exact words. Whenever I try, I get distracted. Fuzzy, Shannon coughs into her sleeve. It's so dusty in here. Yeah, real dusty. You'd think with all these holes in the ceiling... What the hell is that? Did you hear that? Must have been the church ceiling. He's got an orange leg. Okay, I'm controlling him now. I want to go over here. Oh, I can't. Stranger activates the tape player slung on his shoulder. A crackly drawl echoes in the room. It's patient. Sounds like it should be smiling. Too little. My regrets. I hope I didn't keep you waiting long. I don't see a lot of foot traffic these days. I guess you're here about the job. I'm afraid we only have one opening at the moment. Horrible business. We're actually looking for some information about an old computer. Certainly, I'll tell you about everything you need to know. I've only just met you, but I feel certain there's a place for you here. I'll take you over to meet the dispatcher. I'll show you the trucks, get you familiarized. We can converse as we go. What is this place? Some kind of factory? Yeah, maybe, but for what? Why hidden away like this? What's that smell? Like bread? Baking bread? Please follow me. Huh. I have to ask you to step in here for a moment. This is for your safety and adjust your outfits just a bit. There's some protective headwear up on the wall back there. Please remove your shoes and eyeglasses. We don't wear eyeglasses, so that won't be an issue. Well, do us a favor and put on the headwear anyways. Just this way. Wow, check this stuff out. It must be decades old, but it's in perfect condition. You really like old electronics. Yeah, I've got it bad. That's why I got into this business. Keep old stuff like this running. Seems like such a shame to just let it just fall into ruin, you know? Like that computer back in the caves in Adu. Decades of engineering, thousands of years of mathematics and philosophy, all petrified into living stone. How could you just let that fall apart? More new arrivals this evening. Plenty to do. Got to relay the formula. What formula? Eh? Oh, the formula. Changed our lives. Once years ago, we were prisoners of the intricacies of our debts here. We'd have to account for everything on paper. Compounding interest by hand, reassuring amortization, and leveraged asset distributions according to nightly merit decay. Then she stepped out of the dark caves to show us the light of the formula. She had a brilliant grasp of mathematics and a saint-like way of speaking right through the numbers. Weaver. Now we just plug our daily numbers into the formula and run it all through the adding machine. We occasionally suffer some surplus drift, but she instructed us on all the necessary adjustments. It was devastating to see our reverend mathematician go, but she was needed elsewhere. Her legacy abides. What job are they working? I don't know that it's been settled just yet. You see, sometimes we take on newcomers already in debt to the distillery. One of the foremen will find something for them to do, chip away at their son until it's all settled. That's what I'm doing here, chipping away. That's what we're all doing. Earl? This is Earl. Used to be a beekeeper. Borrowed some used casks to store the hives, but the interest accrued more quickly than the honey. Now he works for us here in logistics. Here's the fleet. Oh, we just use these to get around internally. How big is this place? Oh, it's grown a great deal over the years. Incredible to think, really. When Mr. Bishop founded this operation, it was only about 1,800 square feet. Half of that or more was occupied by camouflage to keep the law out. Hiding out in the back of an old church, purifying spirits by handmade fire. A kettle and a dream. So the trucks are just east a ways in shipping. You can become acquainted with the dispatcher there. Give me a tap on the shoulder if you see something that catches your eyes. Always happy to show off the facilities. Oh, I guess we need to drive. Okay. Whee! This all happened. Jeez, we weren't gone that long. Crash into the wall. Thought you'd like to see the accommodations. We supply what bedding we can, according to the formula. How many people work here? Oh, about 30, 40, something like that. Some of us count for more than others. Myself, I'm focused. Well, shouldn't I be? I've got this figure to pay down. The longer I sleep, the more interest accrues. It's a sin to sleep your freedom away like that. Of course, as a delivery driver, you'd be able to come and go a little. You're timed pretty closely, but you can still roll the window down, maybe glimpse a familiar silhouette on the side of the window as you pass. Do you think you could ever live somewhere like this? Seems lonely. Yeah, I guess you don't. Where do you live? I stayed in a barn on Lysette's property. Oh, damn. Yeah, I was living in my workshop, right? Now that your shop is closing, I guess you're... Yeah, I guess it's me too now. If I can't get my landlord to change the locks back. Just a couple of vagrants, huh? Well, we'll figure it out. Okay, I can't go anywhere up there. He's got like a photo badge that just dangles as he runs. Feel that draft of warmth like a summer breeze? This is the aging warehouse. How many casks got aging in there? Couldn't say exactly. Take a look at the inventory report later, if you like. Plenty, though. Of course, we only have half of our aging stock in here at any given time. Most distilleries let their whiskey sit in casks through the cycle of seasons. In summer, the wood expands and the whiskey seeps in, picking up flavor. In winter, the wood contracts and squeezes the whiskey back out. Down here, there are no seasons. Each workday proceeds from the last in an unbroken chain of climate control. So we make our own seasons. Each cask alternates in a weekly cycle between the cold group upstairs and this heated warehouse. They make caskets? So I guess these are like before and after? I wonder what to keep the old casks around for. They smell nice for a little while, but it's pretty overpowering. No way around that smell. No way to clean them after the aging process. I mean, it's a one-way street. Please, don't touch a thing. Very sensitive devices. We're not even allowed to run the formula through them. What do they do? Temperatures, pressures, water, tear, acidity, supply levels, any and all attending numbers in need of crunching, and so on. Am I boring you yet? Are you simply dying of boredom? I myself could discuss this matter past sunrises. I'm trying to fix this old computer in the caves. Of course, I'm boring you. Let's move on. One of these old computers. Looks like about the same vintage as that stuff in the cave. How can you tell? Oh, I don't know this maker model, but you can tell. Check out these tubes. Nobody uses these anymore. I'm not sure where they'd even get replacements these days. It's rare stuff. Hey, is this like antiquing with what I said for you? I'd probably sound kind of ridiculous, waxing on about vacuum tubes and oscilloscopes. I don't think I could talk about anything like that. Bet you could, someday. Maybe you'll bend my ear about whatever. I doubt it. Don't let them catch you looking too closely here. Not within our purview. What's it for? Keeps us honest in the eyes of the state. Well, in the eyes of the management, anyway. We keep pretty well out of view down here. Not much chance of being spotted by a helicopter, hey? But if the law came knocking, we could say we were logging and securing our virgin spirits. We could say. Marvelous engineering, though, isn't it? Guess. I don't get what it's doing, but whatever. What lightning in a copper bottle? Some folks have other names for it. What's it taste like? Like a revelation, my friend. Oh, you wouldn't want to drink it at this stage. Not that you could get a hold of any here. That's what the safe is for. Look at the neck. Like a swan's, eh? This design is part of our legacy. The vapor passes up through this neck along just such a contour so as to produce our bourbon's signature character. Mr. Bishop always said this shape came to him in a dream. He shot awake in the middle of the night and set to work hammering on an old tea kettle to match the phantom geometry. Believe what you will. Here the vapors pass through a coil submerged in cold water and condense. Again, the geometry is very particular. Mr. Bishop arrived by intuition at a series of mathematical relationships between the angles of magnitudes here, some weird cacophony of ratios. Well, those principles are lost to history now. Moving along. What the hell? go to the spot. There we go. An exit. This is underneath a graveyard. Here's the charring yard. Vents pretty well, considering the smell. This is why they call bourbon a comfort food. Those are empty, right? What? Oh, of course. We don't really exhume them anymore. We tapped that source years ago. Okay. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Davey, how goes it? Watch out for Davey. He's a skilled card player. He once played a marvelously protracted game of blackjack against our old floor manager, Shane, in some tiki lounge on the Echo River. His luck ran out and he couldn't recover his losses, so she offered him a job. They used to rob the graves for these? Why casks? I don't understand. We build every cask by hand right here. It's tradition, but I like to think our application of hands and hammers to the oak gives our stuff a kind of life. Well, that's what I like to think. They look like coffins? That's tradition too, I suppose. I'm sure it helps avert suspicion of a saddle. It catches up us burying them upstairs. In this place? It's a grist mill. The mill. It's an antique, perfectly functional. We recuperated it from a site upriver decades ago. Keeps us honest in our old world charm, if you follow. We do as much upkeep as the formula allows. Looks like it's in good shape. Nice of you to say. We take maintenance quite seriously here, but we can't accept all the credit. It was running perfectly when we found it, long abandoned though it was. When we pulled it out of the water at the old site, the wheel just kept spinning and it hasn't stopped yet. Guess it didn't need the river to turn after all. Don't go. There's nothing here. Oh. This is where most of our staff ends up. Pretty modern equipment. Oh, absolutely. Top of the line machinery. A dramatic improvement. We used to bottle everything by hand, but these machines are marvelously effective. Made things a bit complicated for the workers after all. The distillery just can't fire them. How then would they settle their accounts? But there's nowhere else to put them. They keep an eye on things here. Can't be paid as much just to watch, of course. Well, that's progress for you. That is true. But where'd all those prompts go? They're gone? You already want me back in the car? Yep. Smell that? No mistaking it. Baking bread. Exactly. That's the work of our unique ingredient, the yeast. The story is that Mr. Bishop got it from a baker in Knoxville in a little tin box. He was on the run, our Mr. Bishop, from the law. For a while, he hid out in some muddy swamp, subsisting on live fish. But he always kept that little tin box dry, held above his head. Some among us have proposed that a bit of swamp water seeped in that little tin box, introducing a foreign element and giving our yeast culture the eccentricity for which it's so widely known. I think it was that baker in Knoxville. They arrested him years later for the possession of a controlled substance. Life in prison, solitary confinement, no visitors, no windows. Till the day he died. Must have been a hell of a substance, eh? Here we go. Keep going. Should be. This looks like the last area. Here it is. Now I have to ask, as a matter of course, what kind of experience do you have driving trucks? I drove deliveries for an antique shop up until this last run. Aha, precious cargo. You'll do just fine. And you could drive safely, can't you? I haven't any doubt. Now, it's only after what happened with Miguel this evening. I've been driving all my life, for better or for worse. I suppose that's all you must say. I like that. Never say more than you must. It's boastful and ugly. I do pity ill-fated Miguel. He was good company and slow to anger. But for speaking confidentially, oh, with all that lost product to be repaid, bourbon and glass stashed across the interstate. A few casks, too. That was at the first act. We're all just thankful he had no next of kin. So let's see if we can ring up the dispatcher. Doolittle starts the truck and switches on the CB radio. Deep, momentous voice drones from the dashboard speaker. It's a good time, dispatch. We may have found Miguel's replacement. Thought you might like to get acquainted. 10-9, come again? Introduce yourself. Hello? Tell dispatch something impressive about yourself. They're really well regarded here. I'm not here for a job. 9-9 wheel holder, you gotta pay the water bill. Ah, so I'm certain they'll call back before long. Let's take a look around the truck, eh? Headlights work fine, see? Doolittle fiddles with the controls. That's important. Most of our product goes out at night. You never know who you'll run into in the daylight, and dusk can be treacherously misleading with all that indirect light. The magic hour, eh? Drivers sleep in the day, then? Sure, those that sleep. Miguel pulled extra day shifts when he could. Sometimes he'd help me, you know? Sometimes over in the building, in bottling. He shouldn't have been out driving at dusk. Weird shadows, soft light, dangerous. Conway had to get off the highway. Too loud, too murky. He turned off into some gray cornfield in Indiana. Empties rattled under the passenger seat. He kept them over there so the smell wouldn't spread. That window was always open a crack. He had to pull over. Couldn't night drive in this condition. It wouldn't have been responsible. He was only human. He'd been out since the headlights were on. Didn't even stop for coffee. Cracked the beer at 3. Eyes on the road. 4:30. He dodged some stray cattle. The headlights were coming back on. Rockford could wait. Early morning couldn't be much worse than late night. What could they care? He just needed a few hours. So, moving on. Control the wipers with this knob here. Doolittle fiddles with the controls. They seem to have decent torque to them, eh? Can't say how they'd fare in an ice storm, but we must never delay a shipment. Better to assume the risk. Always clear skies down here. So I hear, but most of our product is delivered by surface roads, which feel rain quite often, particularly in the spring months, so I hear. They ditched class for the day to drive in the rain. It was pointless to stay, I'll review. It was a lost cause, and she didn't need it anyway. She was smart, bored, it was time to cut out. Shitty day for it, though. 83 and biblical flood. It was some anonymous swashbuckler film that they went to see about real men and women, real tights, lips, fake blood. They brought a flask, smoked cigarettes, drank awful hooch, whistled buckets of rain. She sang about someone she wanted once to have loved. Brown hair curled around her ear. She had a voice like Scotch whiskey. Conway has heard that song before. He poured another drink, and another, and another. She worried it was getting dark out, and then it was getting light out. They ended up in someone else's field, in someone else's car. An early morning joyride in a sunrise collision. She got on the bus and he hiked back to his car. He sat in his car and he went over some options. Chicago, Toronto, Barrow. Seemed like a bold and impulsive gesture at the time, and he pulled out of the parking lot. He removed his hands from the steering wheel for a moment and felt the car drift into a decision. Years later, he'd think of this as the moment he started drifting. A modest technology best suited to the job, eh? Plenty good enough. Oh, sure. I know you want to kick the tires. There's a thing we do, isn't it? So our knees could exert the kind of force these tires see out there on the road. Or more likely to hurt ourselves, isn't it the way? Sure, they're big machines, but they can be fragile. Absolutely. The truck deserves care and fearful respect like a glass elephant. Miguel was a good driver, but he didn't have that quality of difference. Conway sat in a dim room full of folding chairs. The walls and ceiling were painted with old smoke. Someone read from the book. He drank coffee, as it is. He listened. The speaker listened to all things. The speaker listed all the things we tried. That most people in the room were probably there by court order. A few others shared. They spoke in abstraction like a program of action. A good orderly direction, a spiritual but not religious. Religious but not spiritual. All the things we tried. Then it was over. They clasped sweaty beads through a short prayer and stepped back out into the morning. He knew it was time to hit the bar. It was good to get out of the heat, away from the mendacity. He settled into it. Someone else from the meeting was here, looking rough. He focused on the television. A nature show was playing. Something about river dolphins. They cruised the Amazon, eating psychedelic frogs and having weird adventures. At night, they transformed into attractive young partygoers and wore hats to cover their blowhose. Now, what else can we show you? Looks like it's just about ready to go out. We have some good, strong folks in shipping here, so you never need to worry about loading it if you don't want to. Bit hard on the knees and back at our AJ. Of course, you have to unload at the destination, but that's the job. And some drivers like the extra shift stacking and loading there. I shouldn't really do any lifting these days. I see. Well, surely we could spare a dolly and carrying strap for your own health and safety. Conway woke up on baled hay. Everything was too bright. His head hurt. The usual. I said and Ira argued loudly just outside the open barn door. She wanted Ira to take him inside and shower. Have some coffee, get to the job. Ira said there wasn't time. Conway was in no condition. It was an important job. They couldn't put it off. Ira said to let the deadbeats sleep it off and then send them packing. He said Charlie could do the job. Conway stepped out of the barn, shielding his eyes. He tried to say something reassuring, but just sort of stumbled around it. Isette looked away. Ira just spat and went back inside to wake Charlie. Ira was a stubborn man, so Charlie went along. And Conway drifted out again, and he didn't hear about the accident until months later. Oh. So, what's next? Truck's radio crackles back into life. Driver, come back. Ah, there's dispatch. Now tell them about your experience. Tell them that truck's in good shape. Tell them you'll start in the morning. I really can't. Yeah, we've got to finish this delivery in a few. 10:33 dispatch. Got 2 black eyes and a flock of crocodiles. Come back. 10-4, back it down and prick your eyelids, driver. Come back, Lem. 10-4. Come back, wheel holder. 10-4. Got your ears on? Good. Listen to this. So, I think that went well. Let's head back up to logistics and seal the deal, eh? And I've got one more thing to show you. It's night. It's dark. No. We went down that... Oh, maybe we didn't. Man, that feels weird. That feels like an impossible space there. Let's head back upstairs. I have one more thing to show you. Wait. We only came looking here for some answers about the stupid moldy computer. Oh! The old man in the cave with the moldy computer. That black mold, it's drawn to whiskey. It feeds on ethanol fumes, you see. As we age the whiskey, some of it inevitably evaporates into the air. The angel's share. It goes through the vents here and out into the caves. If we scrape up that mold, we can usually apply some pressure and cold to it, squeeze and condense the angel's share back into drinkable whiskey. Every drop counts when you're making a living on this stuff. So we'd go down and scrape it off his equipment, just like any other place it grows. He kept sending his people here to drive us away. Paranoid. Truly paranoid. Well, now we have the formula, so we don't need to go collecting mold. But we didn't do anything to his moldy computer. He just forgot the password. One of his assistants shared it with me. Dome and air. That'll get you going, I'm sure of it. So, join me upstairs? Not here upstairs, up in like where we came in. If you don't mind. Here it is. A beauty, wouldn't you say? It's an antique, you know. What is it? Why, it's an adding machine. This is where we come for our daily ritual, to calculate the day's interest and repayment according to the formula. I usually do so at the beginning of my shift, so I know how many hours I need in order to keep up. Yes, I believe you'll do well here, sir. Happy to have you. Congratulations. You're hired. Wait, we can't. It's customary here to start each day with a shift drink. Let's make it special. Mark the occasion. This is the top shelf stuff now. Single barrel. He doesn't. Down the hatch. Vinum Memory Mors. What are they doing here? No. Decent enough. Welcome aboard. He's not working for you. We have to get back to this art. He has a delivery to make. What's this? Not working? Are you turning down this opportunity? She's right. I have to make this, I'm disappointed. I'm afraid that leaves us with a delicate problem. As I indicated, this is the top shelf stuff you're drinking now. It isn't cheap. If it's not your first shift drink, well... And there's this matter of this tour just now. My time and experience are billed at quite a premium. This is not good for you, my friend. You're in quite deep. By my back-of-the-envelope estimations, well, we have that in common, I suppose. All of us. Yes, I'm afraid you have to work this off somehow. It's just the way of it. What's happening right now? You can start tomorrow. Take the time to settle your affairs, of course. The interest begins to compound immediately, and well, we'll go over the formula when you get here. I should get back to work. See you tomorrow, then. What is happening? So, I guess I start in the morning. I guess. I'm confused. It's just the way these things go, kid. Huh, well, that still gives us a few hours to roam, right? Where's that ferry? Hello. What the Excellent. End of Act 3. Well, that's it. Act 4 and 5 aren't out yet. That is Kentucky Route Zero, Act 3. That was a hell of a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be. Man, exhausting. My throat is parched. But it was good in certain ways. Like, where it is creative, it's neat, but then in some ways it just kind of carries on and on and on about this stuff. Very, very excessive. I don't know what the heck is going on with Conway in the morning. I don't know how that's going to work. But we'll see how it goes.